Hi, guys, and welcome to our Tuesday night team training. Hope everybody's week is off to a good start. It's been amazing seeing all your back to school pictures of your kiddos. And it's also been kind of weird how my Monday started too, you know, the whole changing of the flags here in our world. So, yeah. But our guest speaker tonight, I'm very excited to introduce her. We've been friends for 4 years, 5 years.
Something like that.
Yes. But before we get started, we're going to open with a word of prayer. And Shelly, will you take it away?
Sure. Let's pray. Lord, thank you so much for the privilege of joining together in work that's worthwhile. And thank you for the opportunities we have to make a difference in the lives of the people that we know and love. And I thank you that we have the opportunity to learn tonight from Heather. And I just ask that you would help us in this endeavor, help us to learn all we can, and bless her for her willingness to share with us. We give you thanks and praise in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Amen. So you want me to take it away?
You go right ahead, girl. Do you want a drum roll? Heather!
I don't need a drum roll. I'm not that special. Hi, everybody. I'm so thankful that you guys asked me to be on this call. I really do like to do these kind of calls because I get to see new faces and meet new people, and I'm all about that. So, excuse me. I have a lot of information to cover tonight, and so I'm going to get started right away. I'm going to start with a story. There's a gentleman who shows up to work one day, and it's lunchtime. He's sitting in the break room, and the guy beside him has his lunch, and he has his lunch, and he opens up his lunch, and he gets like, oh, man, I don't want this again, peanut butter and jelly. And so his friend is sitting there, and he says, so what do you have? He's like, oh, man, I've got an awesome lunch. I've got this gourmet sandwich with bacon and lots of cheese. He's like, I got my favorite chips. I love these pickles. He's like, I'm so ready to eat lunch. And so the other guy's like, man, you're so lucky. And so he says to him, you know, well, why don't you just tell your wife to stop packing you peanut butter and jelly if you don't like it so much? And he goes, well, actually, I pack my own lunch. And so the story is this: we are all responsible for our own lives. And so since in life we pack our own lunches, we can only be upset at the results of things based on our actions and what we put into things, right? So our current situation in life is basically, it's going to be a result of the thoughts and the actions that we have taken up until this point. And so in order for us to change the end result, to get a different kind of lunch packed every day, is we have to change our thinking. We have to change that, and we have to change our thoughts and our actions to get a different result. And so in order for us to be successful, we are going to be required to do things, to actually create action plans and take those steps necessary to succeed. And so what this actually means is a lot of hard work for a very extended period of time. And sometimes that is really, really hard for us because, you know, let's face it, every single one of us faces trials and obstacles. And sometimes it just seems like it would be easier to just say, forget it, I give up. I don't want to do this anymore. Can anybody relate to that? Have you guys ever experienced that in your business or even in just personal life? So what I want to talk to you guys about is starting with a dream and having the stick-to-itiveness to follow these things, set the goals that you want to set so that you can end up with that end result, which is whatever that is for you. Successful business, it could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But for success to happen, we have to add a lot of hard work to what we're doing. And so, of course, a lot of times hard work is not fun, and that's why it's actually called work. So we have to realize that to create the success for ourselves, we have to take action. And so it's all about action. So we're going to create our own success in this business, and we don't have to really have any special abilities, okay? A lot of times we think, oh, I don't come from a sales background, or, I don't really like to talk to people, or, all these things, but it's really about the action steps that we take that actually forge us forward and create the mindset, create the dreams, and create the action steps that get us to where we want to go in the long term. So we have to have discipline to do this, right? And so discipline is basically, the definition is doing what you are supposed to do when you don't really want to do it. And so whether we feel like it or not, which a lot of times we don't, we have to still continue to go forward and still do the hard things. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'm a big procrastinator. And so I can tend to put off the things that I don't really want to do because I'll just get to it later. And so those are the times where we have to just go for it and say, I got to stay consistent. So we're looking for these daily successes, because the daily small successes are going to lead to our long-term success. And that's going to happen because of our small daily accomplishments that we do. So we can have huge dreams, and we can have all of these goals and things that we want to accomplish, but they're not going to do any good if we don't execute them, right? So let me give you another example. There's a guy that's walking down the street. He runs into 3 construction workers, and he says to the first guy, "What are you doing?" And so the first construction guy, he's a bricklayer. All 3 of them are bricklayers. And the first guy says, "I'm laying bricks." And so he says, all right. Well, so the second guy, he asks him, "So what are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm building a strong wall." And so he says, okay, that's pretty cool. So he says to the third guy, "What are you doing?" And this guy says, "I am building a grand cathedral." So you see the difference in those 3 people was that the one guy at the very end that said he was building the grand cathedral, he had the end result in mind. He had a bigger picture. And so that bigger picture he had in a lot better focus than the other 2 men that were also doing the same thing he was. So how can this translate into our network marketing business? Well, we are changing the lives of our friends and families, and we have an opportunity to offer hope to people. That's why I love my hat, because I feel like we are all hope dealers in this business. And so we have to keep this clear vision, this clear line of vision to the finish line. And so it was interesting for me to hear one of the Olympians was talking about training and what it takes to get ready for an Olympic event. Some of these people have worked for years and years and years to be able to be on these teams and to be able to go into these races at the Olympics. And they asked him, aren't you going to be excited to take off when this is over? And, they said, oh, actually, we start our training for Tokyo on August the 24th. Okay, so we know that the Olympics just ended this past weekend. Well, they don't take a lot of time off before they get started, and they're already thinking of Tokyo, and they're already thinking of, being on that medal stand 4 years from now and having that gold medal around their neck. And so when we look forward to the end and kind of work our way backwards, then it becomes easier for us and more enjoyable when we can see ourselves on that podium. So we look at the end result first. For these Olympians, of course, they want to be on that medal stand with a gold medal or a silver medal or a bronze medal. But the ultimate is a gold medal, right, for the Olympics. So if we see ourselves, when we translate that into our network marketing business, we can see ourselves, maybe your goal is to be on that stage. Maybe at convention next year, you want to be recognized as somebody who's made it to be an emerald or a sapphire or a diamond or, anything that you set as your goal. You have to set that goal and you have to work your way back. So when you see yourself and you visualize yourself up on that stage, you have to then work backwards and go, what is it going to take for me to get there? And I can tell you, as somebody who is an Emerald Ambassador, that you really, everybody has a different sphere of influence, okay? And so you really have to just look at who you know and put your faith in the fact that as long as you are being the one that is spreading and sharing what the products have done for you, you can touch so many people's lives. And you all know this from doing this, that whenever you see somebody who their life has drastically changed, whether it be because of their health, whether it be because of their financial status, maybe they're able to do things for people that they weren't able to do. I know a lot of my team likes to do philanthropic type things. They like to give to mission organizations. They like to help with orphanages, homeless people. There's some people that want to go in the mission field or support a missionary. That may not be your goal, but whatever your goal is, start with that end in mind and work your way backwards. Because you guys, in the scheme of things, in all of this, honestly, what I believe is that we have been given a gift, and that gift is the Plexus product line. And we have also been given the gift of the opportunity of helping people develop financial freedom. And so one of the things that I will tell you, I don't look at the money so much as the end-all be-all for this. What I look at is what I am able to do and how I am able to help people with what I have been blessed with from being a Jewel Ambassador. And so, yes, going to Hawaii is so much fun. This will be my third trip. And getting to drive the Lexus car program is a really great thing, too, because who doesn't like free car payments? But in the end, really, it's a lot bigger than that. It's a lot bigger than us, even. And so I think you have to stay focused on that and realize that all these things are great, but you know what? Really, what I feel like we're called to is to be a light. And through this business, you can share products that change, and you can also share the light of God with people as you go through your life. And so I want to just say that. So whenever we are setting our eyes on the target, the end goal, one of the things that we want to do is, one of the things that we don't want to do is to set this goal, start working toward it, run into hardships or setbacks or some kind of a difficulty, and then go, you know what? Then I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to decide to lower my target. If you decide I want to be a diamond or whatever your goal is, if you run into obstacles along the way, don't look at that as, oh, you know what? I'm just going to give up. Maybe I don't really want to be a diamond. Maybe I just want to be a ruby. Because we are all conditioned in this life, and we are conditioned to settle. It is a habit to learn to excel at things. It is a habit that we have to put into daily to say, I can do more. I am worth more. You have to give yourself positive affirmations and information, because the world out there is not going to give it to you. And so the great thing about having a team like this is the fact that you have each other. You have like-minded people that you're doing life with who can really breathe life into you, can be there with you to celebrate the victories, can be there for you whenever you have some hard times, and they are going to come. And so we have to be cognizant of that. So I want to say this, don't lower your target, okay? If you find difficulty, don't settle for less, because you are capable of achieving so much more than you're going to give yourself credit for. And so instead of lowering your target, what you want to do is you want to increase your activity so that you reach that goal that you had stated you wanted to reach. So like we were talking about how it seems easy to say, oh, I'll just settle for less because I'm not really getting to where I want to get. That's not what we want to do. We want to say, okay, well, how much more harder do I have to work to get to that goal? And so you're going to make that decision, and it's a conscious decision to increase your activity until you reach that goal. Okay, some of you guys have done this for a while, and you may be burnt out, or you may just be new at this, you may just be starting. But one of the things that you need to consider is that you're going to run into obstacles along the way, but you can fight through those things. Remember that story about going on a bear hunt? We always used to say that when we were a kid. We do that going on a bear hunt story. And what happens when you get to the area where you can't go over it, you can't go around it, you got to go through it. And that's how life is, especially with this business. And sometimes we underestimate the amount of effort it's going to take for us to reach our goal. But that's okay, because we can still change our mindset. We can still reach those goals. So rather than lowering your expectation, lowering your target, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to increase our activity, because that is what is going to make us successful. So a good way to do this is to track your activity. And so I don't know if you guys have done any kind of plan where you write out what you want to do, a 5-3-1 plan, whatever. For different people, different things work. So you're going to want to track your activity, not your intentions, because, right, we all have good intentions. And so this is where it comes in handy to have a system that's going to work for you to help hold yourself accountable for your daily activities or your daily inactivities. And so you can have a calendar. I personally like to use a calendar in an index file. I have everybody's info on my team that are customers or that are on my team. And I have all their info, and I write stuff down when I talk to them or when I send them something, or if I drop them a card in the mail. And then if there's somebody I need to follow up with, I stick a sticky note on top of that so it kind of sticks up in the box to help me remember to follow up with that person, because that is huge. We always have to follow up. And so this is going to be paramount for you to achieve the success that you want to achieve, and that's going to be a good way for you to measure your results. And so if a calendar works for you, if a planner works for you, whatever it is, get something that's going to be something that's easy for you to follow. And it may not be what's easy for other people to follow. And so you don't want to look at your actions and say, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then you don't get any of it accomplished, but you don't really have a way to measure that or track that. And so that is why this system that I'm telling you, whatever it works for you, you can write down, how many appointments did I set this week? How many times did I show this business opportunity to people? How many new potential customers did I talk to this week? How many people did I follow up with? And so what you do is you just basically go through, and you want to do income producing activities. Sitting on Facebook all day long watching everybody else's posts is not going to be conducive to you growing your business, right? And so when you have a list of those things that you intend to do, you can go at the end of the day, you can check mark them off. You can say, did that, did that, did that. If you get to one that you did not accomplish, what I do is I circle it and I move it to the next day. And I know, okay, I have to get this done for this day. And you just work through it that way. And that is a way that you can take and look at visually and say, okay, I achieved these things. So it's not just my intention, what I wanted to do, but you have a viable visual way to look at it and make sure that you have accomplished those tasks. And so that is the way you're going to track how much money you make, basically, because what is motivating more to us than to see progress? Sometimes I will write things on my list just so I can check them off. I don't know if any of y'all are like that, but sometimes I'll do something and then I'll check it off and just be like, yep, got out of bed. Okay, check. Sometimes just that's a success for me sometimes. So tracking is going to give you the feedback, and that consistent feedback over time is going to show you how you are succeeding, okay? And so remember we were talking about procrastinating and how sometimes that can easily sneak up. You can post something on your mirror to say, I will not procrastinate. One of the things Sonia Dudley, my good friend Sonia, told me that she uses this app called Repeat It Again, and they have it for iPhone and they have it for Android. And what you do is you just download the app, it's free, and it allows you to record 9 different positive messages or anything you want to remind yourself, and you can play it back to yourself as many times as you want. And so I have done that, and I say things to myself, and I'll just keep repeating, because you know what? Our brains, they don't know the difference between reality and fiction. And so what you tell yourself is what goes into your mind. Don't we always tell our kids garbage in, garbage out? So what you're going to take in is going to be positive things. And so you set these things for what you need to hear. Like, I think mine say stuff like, I can do hard things. I have one that says, I will not say when I give presentations, and I'm getting better at that. And so, you just set the things that you need to hear over and over reinforced. And sometimes she says she goes to sleep with it planned because her subconscious picks up on it. So we've talked a lot about procrastination. We've talked a lot about goal setting. But one of the main things is how well we persevere. And so we want to look at our business, look at our life, and refuse to give up, okay? Because it makes us greater when we can look at something and say, I didn't give up on that. I saw it through, I did the hard work, and now I get to see the fruits of my labor. And so in order for you to reach those dreams, in order for you to reach that highest level, you're going to need to persevere. Okay, and so those who don't persevere, they are usually, what that looks like is they start with the best intentions, okay, and they may not even have a clue that they're going to get off track, but then they slowly, but surely they lose focus, and then they eventually give up on their dreams. And so perseverance is going to be a critical factor in our networking success. So all other traits, you guys, can be learned over time. So remember, I was telling you don't have to have some special skill set to do this business. You can learn those things. You can learn to be a better speaker. You can learn how to read people's personalities. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this book, The 4 Color Personalities, but I highly recommend this. It's by Al Schrader. He was actually at convention this year, but take a minute, write this down, and get this book off Amazon if you don't have it. The reason why is because it classifies every person as a color group. There's yellow, blue, red, and green. And let me tell you this. So if you think that you have just the best presentation for your opportunity of a lifetime, you're going to present it to somebody, you've really worked hard, you've written it all out, you've done a PowerPoint. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you go to Portugal and you sit down with a group of people that you want to share the opportunity with, and you pull out your PowerPoint presentation and you start talking about the business and the product line and the comp plan and da-da-da-da-da, okay, they're not going to get it because they don't speak your language. And so that's the thing about this book right here that helps us realize you can read the book and you'll start to identify yourself with a specific color. And you're going to be dominant in one color, but then you're also going to have shades of other colors in there. And so the thing that I've learned in this is that you may have a bunch of people on your team that are considered yellow or green, and you may be a blue or a red. And so some of those things for red, let me read a couple things for you so that you guys, if you're not familiar with this, because I think this is huge, and I'm really hitting it hard with my team on this, because I think when people understand how to speak people's language and they realize, oh, I'm talking in a different language, these people are not receiving what I'm saying, this can make a huge difference in your business. If you are more dominant in one color, then you have to learn the language of the other 3 colors, because you may be talking to somebody, and let's say you're a yellow. Yellows are supportive, nurturing, they like to help people, they're interested in helping, but they are indecisive. They're kind of the what you would say is Mr. Rogers, okay? A blue person would be more like a head cheerleader. They like to, everything's a party. They're fun, adventurous. They love to meet people. They like to sell. They like to talk. They're trendy. They're popular. They're the life of the party. They rarely listen when people give them advice, and they usually aren't great multitaskers, but they think that they are. That's a blue. A red is like a Donald Trump. somebody who's life in charge, organizational, always improving things, focused on the bottom line. They don't listen because they already know the answers. They love recognition and competition, and they will make lots of money. That's reds. And then the last one is greens. They're more of the computer nerd, engineer, accountant, CPA. They're logical. They're not very emotional. They ask for information again and again and again because they like to research things. They're very big on data, and they like to be right. And so these type of personality greens, you have a very hard time closing a deal with a green. So you just want to give them a lot of information, and then they're going to decide what they want to do. Okay, so do you see how this information can be so handy for you? Because if you are a blue, like me, who everything's a party, I'm spontaneous, I don't do details very well, following up is hard for me, but I'll do whatever, as long as it's fun. And so if I have somebody that's a green who is more methodic, likes the details, has more of a sit back, doesn't really like to be in the spotlight personality, and I'm coming to them, talking to them as a blue, well, they're not going to get me, okay? And so likewise, it's that way with the other colors too. So what I want to tell you is get the book, read it. It's not only good for network marketing business, but it's also good for you to look at your business. And I started looking, and I asked my team to tell me what colors they were, and it makes so much sense to me because the ones that get me are more like me. The ones that I struggle the hardest to lead are the ones that are the opposite colors of what my strengths are. And so it's forcing me to learn to speak their language because they're not going to receive the information. Just like if you went to Portugal and sat down with these people and showed your great PowerPoint presentation, they're not going to get it because you're not speaking their language. So get the book. It's a very, very good book. One of the best books I've read to learn about other people. How many more minutes do I have? I want to stay on time.
You're doing good. You're fine.
Okay. So what I want to tell you is kind of in wrapping things up is if you're not already in the game, get in the game. Okay. So if you've already taken the time to be on this call, then you more than likely are probably the people that show up to the events, show up to a Super Saturday, try to win Leaders Retreat, go to a big event or convention. You're probably already doing these things. And so that is a great thing. Watching videos of, Lori Harrison, Sarah Marble, Sonia Dudley. There's so many great YouTube videos by some of my mentors that have been great, great resources. And guys, when I started this back 3 years ago, we did not have near what we have now. We did not have a success kit. We did not know how to run a meeting. We would just literally get together at my house or Rainey's house or somebody's house and just be like, well, come on over. We're going to talk about this stuff, Plexus. We don't really know what we're doing, but, and some of you guys may have been around long enough to say that has been your experience as well. But we have to really be prepared for a marathon, guys, because some people reach it fast. Some people reach it slower. Some of it depends on what color personality you are. If you're a yellow or a green, you're going to take it a little bit slower. You're going to want to really develop these relationships with people and really get rock solid with them before you share something with them. People like me who I will tell anybody that, I run into, it's a challenge for me to turn a conversation into a Plexus conversation because I'm getting really good at working it into conversations, whether I'm getting a pedicure or manicure, just whatever, the grocery store, but it really does take long-term commitment from us. Because think about this. If you have a job in corporate America and, say you're in this job for 5 years, okay? You are going to, more than likely, if you are in a network marketing business that has a good product like we have, that has a great compensation plan like we have, you know what? You can make strides in your income in 5 years or less, okay? It's not anything to say that somebody could go from, maybe having a teaching job making $45,000 a year, because I've seen a lot of my teacher friends this happen to making well over 6 digits and be able to quit their teaching job, And so I encourage you guys, just dream big, because I'm telling you, when I started this, I had no idea where this was going to take me. I really didn't. And I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs that I used to tell myself over and over. Like, one of the things that I used to say was that I'm never going to make more than like $35,000 a year because I didn't finish college. And that was something that I was always playing in my head, this negative tape. And do you know that in 8 months with Plexus, I was making a 6-digit income? And that is huge to me, because in my mind, I had this limiting belief that Heather was never going to do more or be more or achieve more because of XYZ. Okay. And so I just want to say, if you have limiting beliefs, try to, really pray about that. Ask the Lord to show you what He has for you. Ask Him to show you how to dream big and how to believe in faith that even though you don't see the end result right now, that He is leading you in this path. And He is giving you every resource that you need to be able to accomplish this task. And I hear a lot of people say, well, yeah, my business, it's just going to come along in God's timing. You know what? I in some ways believe that, but also He also requires us to take action. Okay? He's not going to just dump things in our lap and say, here you go, here's your income, here's your car, here's your trip, you have to work for this, okay? And so we have to take immediate action, and we have to actually do it. So what I encourage you to do, because you have a great upline here, I encourage you to get with your upline, revisit your commitment to this business, even with sideline people. I mean, I'm doing this call and we aren't even on the same team. That's the beauty of One Plexus, because this business is designed for us to cheer each other on, okay? It does not matter what team we're on. It does not matter who's upline. You may be on this call and you may not really get along with your upline. I don't know. I've seen so many things in the last 3 years since I've done this. And people are different personalities. People are different color personalities. And so I encourage you to find somebody, a sideline, an upline, whatever, and really try to hold each other accountable. Share your story, share your why, share your dreams. Have somebody quiz you every week and ask you what you're doing. How have you reached all your tasks? Have you checked all the things off your list every day? Have you kept revisiting, your end goal? Do you want to be on that stage? Okay, what do you still have to do to get to diamond? What do you have to do to get to emerald or senior ruby or gold? Or, there are so many opportunities, guys, that we have. This is really a learn as you go business. You don't have to have it all together or all the answers before you start this business. And that is the beauty of it. And so what I want you to do is I really want you to just proclaim yourself, proclaim the things that you can do, and really work towards those goals. Tell yourself positive affirmations. Go to that Repeat It Again app and play positive messages. Those are the things that are going to get you to the goals that you want. And so in closing, I just like to say this. Strangers are really just people, are just friends that we have not met yet. And that's really how I look at it, because you may be a stranger with somebody now, but sharing your life and how things help you will make them a friend in no time. So thank you guys for listening, and I hope that you guys learned a little bit of something, and I'm staying on in case y'all have any questions.
Heather, that was fantastic. I feel like it was a wonderful pep rally. Like, we need to just stand up and say, amen. That was great job.
I do have one more thing I forgot to share, and some of you guys may already be doing this, but this book right here, Millionaire by Halftime, y'all are shaking your heads. Okay, so you're familiar with this book? Did y'all go through this, Deanna?
Not as a whole group, we didn't go through it, but I mean, one of us read it, the other liked it, the other picked it up, and we've just kind of domino effect with it.
Okay, this book right here, I love this book. For one, let me tell you why. First of all, Presley was my coach in high school. He taught at my high school. But also, this book is so simple. The simplicity in this can take someone who's never done any kind of business where they talk to people and turn it into a successful business, because his stuff is so simple. I'm actually working through this book with my team. We meet every Monday night. We do a Zoom call, and we go through 2 chapters a week, and we lay it all out. So if you don't have this book, I highly, highly recommend this one and this Color Personality. So there's my share on that.
Wow, that was great. So y'all unmute yourself and pick her brain. And if you got questions, get her. I will start just calling you out.
Like I said, don't make me call on you.
That's right.
Questions. So how many people do you have on your team right now, Heather?
I think, I haven't looked in a long time. I think I have about 1,200 maybe. I would say, though, that probably about 460 or 70 are actually active, though. Like really working their business. Like, not really working their business, but, that are active and go above their 100 PVs.
Gotcha. So what strategies do you have for keeping your team engaged?
Okay, like I said, I do that call once a week with my team. I have a team page that I only put my team members on, and we can talk about, people have anything that have questions on it. I also meet with all my level 1s every month, and we go over goals, and I write them all down, and then we revisit those goals, and we see kind of where we're at. One thing I can tell you is you can't motivate people, and I think it's kind of a little bit of a misnomer that you can motivate anybody to do anything. Because in the end, they have to really want it for themselves. And so when you have, like, when you read this the yellow and the green, you start to realize I have a lot of people on my team that are yellow and green, okay? And so you start to realize that, okay, this makes sense why they're not as willing to step out and put themselves out there. Maybe they're introverted or they're shy. And every one of these, in the end, make good leaders. They just make good leaders in different timing, okay? So, like, if you have a red, you want a lot of reds on your team, because they're the ones that they see the end result, and they will do whatever it takes to get there. They want to be recognized. They want to be on the front, row. They want to be up on the stage. They see and they get that they can be recognized and people want to follow them. So you really want a lot of reds on your team. But all of these work together. So if you want to, like, when I think of like a Celeste, okay, she's very, very red, okay? She sees, she sees the big picture. And the more people that are doing this business that are, see the end result, and they're focused and they're laser focused and they're going to get it done, they're going to get it done faster than, say, somebody that's maybe a yellow or a green, because those people take a little bit more time to process. They want more facts. They want more data. And so whenever you are approaching a prospect, you're going to have to kind of try to figure out what their color is, because if they are somebody, like, here's an example. If you were going to invite someone to an opportunity meeting, okay, and they were a yellow. Remember, yellow are people that like to help people, all right? You're going to word something completely different than if you were inviting reds or blues. Here's what I mean. So remember I told you that yellows are very help-oriented. They're your nurses, your counselors, people that like to help with kids, people that love pets, very nurturing, okay? If you're going to invite a yellow to a meeting, they aren't the ones that want to sit on the front and be recognized and be called out. They want to sit in the back of the row. They don't really want people to really know they're there. They're kind of behind the scenes. So if you were going to invite a yellow, you would want to word it like this. Hi, we're having a meeting on Tuesday. I would love for you to come, and I would love to get your opinion on, our products. And it's going to be a great informational meeting. You're going to learn a lot about the products, and you should walk away from that with a lot more knowledge about what you can use and what you can share with people to help them with whatever ails them, okay? So see, you've touched on the information part, and you've touched on the help part, and that's what's going to speak to them. Now, if you were going to do it to a blue, you could invite them to the same meeting, but you would want to say something like this. Come to the meeting. It's going to be so much fun. You're going to get to meet some of our top people. You're going to get to mix and mingle with some of our top levels. We're going to have raffles. It's going to be so much fun, and you could walk away with some great prizes, okay? You see the difference? Okay? If you have somebody that's a yellow or a green, they're not going to want to be all about the party, okay? They're going to want to just sit back, take it all in, get the information. Get the information. Whereas a blue or a red wants to get down to business. They want to, they don't want the chit chat. They don't want any of that. They want the facts. They want to see how they can reach, how are they going to get all this money? Okay, you said the comp plan's great. Well, tell me what I'm going to make. The yellows, they don't care about that. They're not as concerned about, making buku bucks. Maybe they are, but they more want to help people, okay? And so you can see where if you are not speaking these people's language, and you have a friend at your, church or a group that you're in, and you're talking about coming to the meeting and how much fun it's going to be and all these people and da-da-da-da-da, and you're going to meet all this da-da-da, they're going to be like, shut down. Okay? And so you really want to learn to maximize the ability to get their attention, because when you touch their heart, then they're going to trust you. And then they're going to take what you have and say, oh, okay, I'll do that. And if you don't reach them on that level, it's going to be very easy for them to walk away and say, that doesn't sound like something I'm interested in. Does that answer a little bit? I mean, you do have to strategize a little bit with these people. And I mean, they aren't going to know you're doing it. They're just going to think you're really honed in on them if you learn the colors. And you can learn this by, if you start talking to somebody and they say a lot of stuff in the first 5 minutes of meeting them, they're probably a blue. If you're sitting there talking to the lady at the nail place and she tells you her whole life story in 5 minutes, she's probably a blue. If you're with somebody that's a yellow or a green, they may not offer you that much information. They may just kind of sit back and listen to what you're saying. But every color is valuable. But you just have to learn how to speak the other color's language so that you can have kind of an in to prospect with that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I thought it did too. I mean, this book you can read it in like an hour. It's not very big.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Heather, what are some of your income producing activities that you do every day?
Every day. I look at my calendar, because that's where I write down everything. If I have a call or a meeting or whatever, those are going to take priority over, going and getting a massage or something like that. So I prioritize it by sometimes depending on what time zone that person's in, because I have team members all over the U.S. So I'll prioritize talking to people, following up. I go through my little index file that I have. And if I have a little, you can see this, like sticky notes like this, then I know I put them on the little index card in my box with the person's information. And I follow up if I write on there, follow up on Tuesday the 24th or whatever. So I follow up with the people. I also reach out every day to at least 3 people that I think because I've been doing this a while, so I have my warm markets kind of not warm anymore. And so I'm going to my cold market now and trying to make those people a warm market. And so there's several people that I've contacted now who I have done life with at various times in the past, and I try to follow up and kind of start conversations with them based on what's going on in their life, because this is a relationship business. So I try to build some relationships online with some old friends from the past. I do that every day, and I try to drop, a few cards in the mail to my team to encourage them, or some little gift idea. But really just try to be available support-wise for my team. I'll do one-on-ones with people. I'll open myself up to say, I have this time available. Who needs to meet? I just kind of open myself up like that. But it is imperative to do the following up, and you always have to be adding people to your team, like level ones. That's huge. Does that answer your question, Tiffany?
Yes, thank you.
Good.
Okay, another question. What's your most effective way to communicate the business opportunity? Is it typically like an online event? Is it live? Is it one-on-one?
One-on-one.
Okay.
For me, it's work big one-on-one, because not everybody in my sphere of influence wants to do it as a business. But those people that do, then I definitely let them know what the possibilities are. If they say, I'm sick of this job, I really wish I could be home with my kids this summer, then those are some red flags. I try to listen to when people talk. You really have to do a lot more listening than talking. And then I respond based on what I hear them say, and if it's more about products, then I say products. If it's more about, well, I see you're going to Hawaii for the third year. What all does it take to do that? Well, then of course I would share the opportunity. And sometimes I'll share the opportunity just so that people understand that they can get this product wholesale price and still make, money. I mean, $100 to $200 is huge for most people. Every month, if you had an extra $100 to $200, that can be very life-changing. So I try to be very cognizant of people's financial situations, and if somebody says, I don't have the money right now, I just say, well, I'm here. I don't pressure people. I'm like, well, I'm not going anywhere. In fact, I had a lady call me tonight right before this call. I met her at the spa when I got a pedicure one time, and she's asking me about probiotics. She totally remembered me when this is at least a year ago.
Wow.
So, I always leave it with people like, I'm not a pressure person. I'm not going to bug you, call you, hound you. But if you do give me permission to follow up with you, of course I will do that.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
How do you find it's best to keep your team plugged in, encouraged, and motivated so that,
For me, I think mostly it's team page. I highly encourage you to have more than one or two people to do a team page. And even if that is just taking the information that Deanna puts on her team page and putting it on yours, at least it's starting to show them that you are a leader and that you can be trusted to be there. It also gives an opportunity for people to hear other people's views on things, because we all don't learn the same way. And so I think it's very effective when you have a forum where multiple people can make comments. I always say keep it clean, keep it, not bashing people or, argumentative. But I feel like that's very effective, because I have several people that are kind of my runners, and they have their own team page. So I'll post stuff sometimes on my big team page, and then I'll go to their little team page and post it too. Because some of their people, they haven't either added it to the team page, to my team page, or maybe that person's not looking at it as often as they look at their team page.
sorry, do you find that contests help them? Does that seem to keep them motivated and
Some people are motivated by contests, some people aren't. And the best way to find out is ask them. That's what I did. I put out there, I used to have all these contests where I'd give away money and give away, this and that. And, and I started being like, why are the same people were winning it every single time? And so I was like, you know what? If a trip to Hawaii and a free Lexus doesn't motivate you to do this, me giving you $25 Starbucks gift card is not really going to do much. But you know what? For some people, that's huge. So if you have a team already, I would ask them, hey, what are the best ways you'd like to be recognized? And they'll tell you. And then you can write that down like I do. I write it down on my little index card for that person, and I'll be like, she likes to get gifts, or she likes to get a graphic on the page posted saying, great job, or good job joining the consistency club this month, or, I write it down. And so I know what each person wants. And if one person likes to get their name out there in a graphic, I'll take a picture, from their page, and I'll do graphics with it and, recognize them that way. And some people, they want a $5 Target card, and that's great for them. So just really ask your people, how do you like to be recognized? And that way you're not spinning your wheels and, buying them $5 Starbucks cards when they don't drink coffee,
Good point. The other thing is, I don't even know really how to phrase this. It just kind of came into my mind. A lot of us have kind of been building our business for a while now. And so the natural course of action is that they become customers. We turn them over to ambassadors. So the customer pool kind of starts to get a little shallow. How do you find it the most effective for you to build and increase your customer base?
I'm having to turn my cold people into warm people. So I'm either going back to somebody that used to buy that doesn't buy anymore, tell them about our newest products, or I will literally, because a lot of my business was built on Facebook at the beginning, and I was not a go talk to people person. I mean, I would talk to people if it came up, but my whole thing was I did not want to be that person that when I saw you out, that you'd be like, oh my gosh, here comes Heather again. She's going to invite me to some party I'm not going to want to go to, and I'm going to have to tell her no. I did not want to be that person. So I didn't do a lot of targeted, hey, you want to, I just literally posted my own stuff. Like, okay, I used to not sleep good, now I sleep good. Okay, my sugars used to be unbalanced, now they're balanced. I would post, I've lost this many inches or whatever. And that's what people will be like, oh, what are you doing? But again, it was a different time. It was 3 years ago. Not a lot of people knew about Plexus as many as they do now. And so now what I'm doing, and I feel like it's most effective, and is what I tell my team, is you have to start talking to people. You have to step out of that comfort zone and say, what do I need to tell you? No. I look at it like this. If you go to a restaurant, the waitress comes up and asks you if you want some coffee, and you say, no, I don't want any coffee today, but thank you for asking. She doesn't step away and go, oh my gosh, she didn't want my coffee, I'm going to quit my job. She hates coffee, she hates me. And, no. She knows that next week when you come in and she comes to your table and says, would you like some coffee? You may want coffee then. So you don't look at it like, you have to really separate from the emotional part of it sometimes. And that is really hard to do because rejection is so hard to deal with, because we tend to take it as me. They don't like me. Maybe I didn't say it right. Maybe I'm just not good enough for this job, And those are the times where we were talking about when you have to keep forging forward. And one of the things that Presley says in his book is, and I think this is funny, but he goes, I look at it like this. He said, I'll tell somebody about my company's product, okay? He says, if they don't ask me much, I'll ask them, what they do, and they ask me what I do, and I start to tell them what I do. And if they don't really ask me any more about it, like they're interested, he says, I just call them a cucumber. He doesn't actually say you're a cucumber. And he goes, I just call them a cucumber in my head and I move on to the next person. He said, sooner or later, you're not going to find cucumbers. You're going to find somebody that's interested. So look at it like this. You can only do and share what you know. And so what people's decisions aren't up to you. And, I know that we have different faiths out there and different streams of belief, but this is the way I look at it when you talk to somebody about the Lord. You may be the one to just be kind to them and share, what he's done in your life, and you're just a seed planter, and it's somebody else's job to water those seeds later on. That's the way I look at this business, because you may tell somebody about Plexus and it may not be the right timing for them to hear. But you know what? I have found in this business 6 months from now, people's life changes. I've seen a lot of people end up getting a divorce, or their life circumstances change, and then they're ready. Whereas maybe 6 months ago when you talked to them, they were not in a place to do it as a business, or whatever. But people's life circumstances change, so never feel like you can't go back to them and say, hey, I know when we talked 6 months ago, you weren't really at a place where this was a viable thing for you, but, I know your life circumstances have changed. Would this be something that you might consider now? And I forgot to tell y'all this when we were having our discussion, but one of the things that's huge is ask a lot of interrogative questions to people. What, why, when, where, how? And that's part of my challenge when I talk to people, to try to get conversations going about Plexus. And here is 3 words I want you to write down. Everybody needs to write these 3 words down, because when you don't know what to say, this is what you say. You say, tell me more. Okay? Because guess what? People's favorite subject to talk about is themselves. And so when you say, tell me more, what you are really doing is giving them an opportunity to give you more facts, so that you can then take those facts and direct them to a product or an opportunity that would be beneficial for them. But if you're not listening and you don't have enough facts, you just say, tell me more. And they'll tell you more. And then if you still feel like you don't have enough facts, you just, work it in a conversation. Just feel like, oh, that is interesting. I never would have thought of it that way. Well, tell me some more about that. You can make it a very natural conversation. And you can get enough, facts for you to be able to say, okay, in your head, okay, this person said this, this, and this. And, and you can clarify things when you're talking to them, and, really make it about them. Because after all, if they don't trust that you have their best interest at heart and you're just looking for a sale, every one of us knows what that feels like. Nobody wants to be pressed to do something or buy something or take part in something that they don't feel is going to be beneficial for them. So the more that you ask them, tell me more, then you can kind of get a good gauge on where they are. And then you can say, okay, well, you were saying, that you've been having an issue with having a lot of energy. And so we have this new product that, I don't know, it might work for you, it might not. And I always fall back on the 60-day money-back guarantee. If it doesn't work, I'll get your money back. So we have so many things. We just need to use our system, use our success kits that they gave us, at Super Saturday. They're available now to purchase. If you don't have one, get one, because it is such a great resource. You can take it right through with people and show them how to use that success kit to build their business. Anybody else have anything?
I have a question. I'm still trying to figure out the best system as far as follow-ups. I've bought a calendar. I've recently bought one of those big desk calendars, and I saw a video about the index cards. Do you put the 1 through 30, so the day that you talk to them? And
no, what I do, I have it alphabetized, and so what I do is I have the person's information, and I will use a sticky note. And so say, for instance, I talked to Deanna, like this is what I've done with Deanna. So I've got Deanna in my index file. And so when she went Ruby, I sent her a little surprise. And so on my index card, I pull out, I saw that she went Ruby. And so I wrote down on my calendar, went Ruby, Deanna went Ruby, whatever date it was. And so then I put C index. And so I go to my card and I'll pull out her address, and I filled out, the information to send her, what I was going to send her. And I'll write on there, I'll put a little dot and I'll say, mail Deanna gift for going Ruby, August 22nd. Okay. Now that's what I do for stuff that I know, like, that is happening. Okay. So for stuff that I know, like say I talk to you, Jill, and I go, how about next week? Would that be a good time for us to do coffee? And you say, yeah, that'd be great. So I'll put on the sticky note. I'll already have your information. I'll put it on in the next card. And then I will put a sticky note that says, whatever date it was, Wednesday's date, 8/4, coffee with Jill. And then I'll go to my calendar. I'm probably do double the work, but it's just the best way that works for me. So I'll put see Jill Penny index. And so I'll look and I'll notice that that's got a little flappy flap in it, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to schedule that coffee with her or meet her on that day for coffee. And then I'll put on there 8/4 had coffee with Jill, and then I'll put maybe something that maybe you told me you were maybe your prospective customer interested in triplex or whatever. And then if I want to follow up with you again, I'll take that old sticky note off and I'll put September the 4th, see if she's decided on the triplex. And then on my calendar, I'll put September the 4th, check Jill Penny index, and I'll look and see. It's probably double work, but it works for me. It always worked when I was like an admin for several managers. It's just really the system that works best for you.
Yeah, I've started on a piece of paper and, with my list, and I constantly go back to it, and I'll even use different colored pens, and it's like, okay, this is getting really sloppy. I need to get a better system. So I bought some index cards, and I thought about trying it, and I saw where someone had done the dates 1 through 30. So if you talk to them on the second, and move that card,
move your card for the day.
Yeah, that way, on certain days, you know who to. But then you also have groups or sections where your sidelines or your downlines, your level ones. That way you can constantly keep up with them as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still trying to play with it. So I'm trying to get myself a little bit better organized, because the follow-ups, I have some follow-ups, and things happen. Life, school, whatever. And so, like I said, I'm just, I figured maybe that's something to try for. So
Jill? This might work good for you, what you just said about doing the 31 days and putting in your card with the person. I might also have a spiral that's for my daily stuff and be like, okay, I might be like, talk to Jill, Deanna, and Tiffany, put my 3 on there. But then also those 3 cards will be in my day for that day. And then if for some reason you talk to 2 of those, but you don't talk to Tiffany, you take her card and move it to the next day.
Yeah.
And then
I have the different size Post-its, notes too.
Yeah.
At clearance aisle, they have the little mini ones, and have the small, and I buy them just for that fact that I can tag things or make the notes and stuff. So
well, I find that when you can take the Post-it note off and throw it away and mark stuff off, you feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah.
And so why I like having something written on a spiral or a notebook too is because once you take that Post-it off and throw it away, you may not see that you've accomplished anything, but if you have it checked off on that list, you can really see that you're progressing,
Kind of like a prayer journal when you realize, when you pray something and you go back and you realize, oh, God really did answer that prayer in the timeline. Yeah. I have so many notebooks. It's like I need to set one for Zoom or one.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm carrying a backpack around because I never know, with my stuff, I just never know. So it's like,
I have so many journals that I started. It's kind of fun to look back on and be like, oh yeah, oh my gosh, I remember when that happened. But I think for business, you have to have something that's more manageable where you can check it off or rip it off and throw it away or, whatever system works. But I think that will be a good system. It's kind of just a variation of what I do, and it works for me, I'm
going to try that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. Are y'all all local? Where are you guys all at? I know Deanna and Tiffany are in Lovegood.
Tell me more idea.
Me and Jill and Lori are in Red Oak.
Okay.
Shelly is in California.
Okay. Where's Mindy?
Mindy's in. Mindy, you want to say hi? I see you hiding over there. Mindy's in Wiley.
Wiley. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, we've recorded this, so I mean, we're definitely going to go back and listen to it over and over again because it was really good information.
Oh, good.
I liked watching everybody's face while you were talking because they're all going, yeah,
And
yeah.
I can't really watch anybody's face because I'm having to look at the microphone.
Right.
And that's weird for me because I'm used to just like looking at people's face. But I'm learning from doing all those Zoom calls that you just have to kind of, have your notes down here and, try to not look like you're reading them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I've enjoyed my time with y'all. If you guys need anything from me, you can friend me. I'm on Deanna's page too. I'm on her Facebook, so you can find me there. I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of y'all have.
We sure do appreciate you sharing your evening with us, sweetie. Thank you so much.
Sure, Deanna.
Happy belated birthday.
Here.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I'm counting backwards now.
Exactly. 364 days till the next one.
That's right.
That's right. Well, okay, guys, I'm going to hit stop recording.